We're Helen and Tim, full-time adventure travelers with the goal to see the world one mountain at a time. In January 2023, we packed up our home in Portland, Oregon and quit our jobs to travel full-time. We just spent 2 weeks in Japan and now we're flying to country number 4, Italy. This is our first time traveling to Italy, and one of our first stops we want to show you is hiking the Blue Plath in Cinque Terre, a stunning coastal town off the Italian Riviera.
So we finally made it to Italy. This is our first time in the beautiful country of Italia. So we left Japan and jumped on quite a few flights, spent a lot of time in the airport the last 4 to 5 days. And
To start, we left Tokyo and flew on Japan Airlines. We flew premium economy, and we highly suggest that if you ever fly on Japan Airlines, you can upgrade to premium economy because it is one of, if not the best premium economy product that is out there. You get lounge access. It is like a throne seat. It is big and comfortable. So if you get a chance, do it. But we flew from Tokyo to Bangkok. We spent a couple days, just like a short layover, relaxing. We ate some great Thai food. We rode in the tuk-tuk, which was fun. We got some nice massages.
actually it was kind of painful massages, but they were nice and affordable. And then we had we kind of took the long way to get to Italy because we wanted to fly on Qatar business class. It's always been a dream of Tim and I's to fly on Qatar business class. So the reason why we stopped in Bangkok was because we used it as a, what do we call it?
Positioning flight.
A positioning flight. So what that means is, you know, there's reward flights out of these different major cities with airports, and Bangkok happens to be one of them. So we found great redemption miles and points, only paid less than $65 per ticket to fly 2 legs on business class. So after Bangkok, we went into Doha, Qatar, and that was about a 6.5-hour flight. And let me tell you, the flight there was pretty fantastic. We sat on the A380, one of the largest planes in aviation, double-decker, full bar.
Full bar.
Full bar.
Like stand-up bar. You get out of your seat, you walk back to the bar.
Yeah, so that was an incredible experience, and just alone, you know, the seat and the comfort and the movie choices, even the food was fantastic. It wasn't a full menu, but at the same time, you get to choose whatever you want, whatever drinks. The wine menu was fantastic. We had a long layover in Doha, it was about 13 hours, so we decided to spend time in the Al
Morjan.
We decided to spend time in the Al Morjan. I think I'm saying that wrong, but the business class lounge in Qatar airport, and it was absolutely beautiful. Our favorite part was we got these private quiet rooms and was able to take a 6-hour sleep in between our layover overnight and didn't have to pay a dime for a hotel room, and had food. We decided to walk around the beautiful gardens of the airport, and just really spend time kind of winding down during our long trip to Italy. So after that, we flew from Doha to Italy for another 6.5 hours, and we finally landed in Milano, and then we spent a few days in Tuscany with friends. So it's been a whirlwind of an adventure. Tim hung out in wine country with his friend Scott, and I went to Venice and had a girls' day. It was nice to take some time apart. So now we are in Cinque Terre, and we're gonna show you around.
And so it's this collection of 5 towns that's along the coastline here in Italy. And our plan is to check out the town that we're in, which is Monterosso al Mare, and then hike tomorrow or the next day. We're gonna hike from here and try to hike to each of the 5 towns. There's a really beautiful trail along the coastline, and then we'll train back.
Just amazing gelato along the way.
Limoncello.
Limoncello. We actually discovered meloncello, which is like a cantaloupe cello.
That's really
cantaloupe
good.
drink like a limoncello. But anyways, all right, well, let's go explore, and we'll take you around Cinque Terre.
Let's check it out.
We're almost in Italy. Yes, country number 4. Tim will be braving the streets of Italy in our rental car.
Can't be worse than Taiwan, right?
And it's manual, so I can't drive manual, only Tim can.
I say that now, but maybe.
The little streets of Italy. Here's our little Fiat. Not a Fiat, but we got upgraded to a hybrid Lancia. It's so little. First rental car in Europe.
Let's see how many tickets we get.
Tim usually gets tickets when we travel. Anyone else get tickets? And they like to take photos of his face with the tickets.
You like it?
Made it to our cute little place in Cinque Terre. Means 5 towns in Italian, and the one thing I appreciate the most about our hotel in Cinque Terre, more like apartment, is the recycling bin and ways to differentiate our trash. That's very kind of them. So when you full-time travel, sometimes all you want to do is eat a pizza, have some wine, and watch a movie and on the floor because we have no dining table. Full-time travel life, y'all. Cinque Terre is known as the Italian Riviera. It's located in northwest Italy, and La Spezia is the largest and closest city nearby. The 5 towns that make up Cinque Terre include Riomaggiore, Manarola, Corniglia, Vernazza, and Monterosso al Mare. Monterosso al Mare is the biggest of the 5 towns of Cinque Terre. It also offers 2 beaches, a sandy beach and a pebble beach, and also it has more restaurants, shops, and places to stay than any of the other towns in Cinque Terre. It's also one of the only flat villages, and all the other towns are perched on the side of the coastal cliffs. Our visit to Cinque Terre was between May 21st to 24th for 3 nights, and we paid around $125 USD per night for our room in Monterosso. It was around high 50s in the morning and mid to high 70s temperature-wise during the day. May to October is the best time to swim in Cinque Terre, and crowds start to pick up around May. Good morning from Monterosso here in Cinque Terre. We are about to start our hike through the 5 towns in Cinque Terre.
So the trail should be about 10 miles. It goes through each of the 5 towns. So we're gonna start in Monterosso al Mare.
It's supposed to get really crowded. We're starting about 6:15 a.m. We'll see how the crowds build and we'll report back on what that looks like. And my arm's shaking. So it's nice to start early because there's literally no one around. It is such a different contrast between the midday and morning. We haven't seen a single person really walking as we're heading to the trailhead this morning. We are staying in the most northern part of Cinque Terre in the town of Monterosso. So Cinque Terre is in Italian called 5 lands, and we're gonna be hiking our way south as we go through each of the towns, and we're definitely gonna show you around. Officially started the Monterosso Vernazza section of the hike. Already stairs. It's too early.
So we have one of the ticket booths where you can pay for your trekking passes. They should be scattered about throughout the trails, kind of close to each town.
In 1997, Cinque Terre was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List as a cultural landscape. The Italian word Cinque Terre translates to 5 lands and has since been incorporated as the smallest Italian national park called Parco Nazionale delle Cinque Terre. So I was just telling Tim, if you're crossing a little bridge with ivy and stone, it feels like we're in Lord of the Rings right now. Just feels like a fairy tale.
So a really cool thing about Europe trails, whenever you're hiking, there's these neat little trail markers that they paint along the way. It's really easy to stay on trail in Europe because you have these trail markers to kind of follow. It's just a really great feature of hiking in Europe.
Came across this lock. Maybe it's like a wishing tree of some kind.
So the stretch between Monterosso and Vernazza seems to be like it's one of the longer stretches between the 5 towns, but we're about to our first stop.
Yay!
I don't know exactly what it's for, but I'm gonna check it out. There's some storage back here of like hoses and stuff. I don't know.
Sure used to serve a purpose.
Yeah, a bunch of walls. There's some kind of water.
Yeah.
There's like crates. There's some plastic crates there for...
Maybe you use it to water the land. That's cool. They have a sign of where you are on the trail
with coordinates in case of an emergency. Kind of feels like we're in the desert.
Check that. Well, it's got that, you know, that Mediterranean feel, I guess. That's...
Yeah, it is on the portion of the Mediterranean. So we started the hike about just after 6:45, and it only took us about an hour and change. We do stop and film, but we made it to the town of Vernazza. It's such a difference when you get here early. There's absolutely nobody down in the town compared to when we walked through it yesterday, but we're gonna take you on a quick voice tour of Vernazza.
So we just arrived in Vernazza, and it took us about 2.8 miles from Monterosso to get to here. We decided to purchase a combination pass with Trenitalia, which is the train system here. And we got a combination pass where it combines trekking and unlimited train rides for 2 days for 2 people. It was 33 euros each. And you don't have to buy the combination pass, you can just pay per train ride. It was like 5 euros one way per person. And the trekking, I believe, was like 750 euro for 1 day.
Vernazza was founded around 1000 AD and was ruled by the Republic of Genoa starting in 1276. We thought this was one of the most picturesque towns in all of Cinque Terre. No cars are allowed in Vernazza village, and it remains one of the truest fishing villages on the Italian Riviera.
Can't always believe what you read online, but still think it's a cool fact that the reason why the houses are painted these different colors, I'm sure it's a bit of the aesthetic reasons, but fishermen, I'm like breathing hard because we just went upstairs. I did hear that fishermen wanted to spot their homes from their boats, and they could identify that based on the color of the house back in their town. So
Italy is known for its fertile ground, obviously, with the vineyards, but they also have lemon trees, orange trees. They grow all sorts of fruits here.
looks like you can actually get fined if you do not wear closed-toed shoes with some sort of grip.
Cinque Terre is located on the steep landscapes right up to the cliffs that overlook the Ligurian Sea, and there are pretty much 3 ways to move from one town to another. You can either walk, take the train, or you can go by boat. And the walking trail of the Blue Plath is about 8 to 10 miles long.
Looks like we're just hitting the 3rd checkpoint, so it does seem like there is a checkpoint at the beginning and end of each town. So if you're starting before the checkpoints open, just make sure you stop and buy your hiking pass. Selling fruits. That's cool. Buy some.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ascending and descending on the Blue Plath trail because of the terrain of Cinque Terre. We started in Monterosso al Mare, so between Monterosso al Mare, Vernazza, Corniglia to Manarola, it's pretty evenly spaced out on the Blue Plath trail, around 2 to 3-ish miles between each of those towns, while Manarola and Riomaggiore is just over a mile in distance.
Get some fresh juice along the way. Maybe Tim will let me get one. We're on a tight budget.
Nothing's open yet.
Nothing's open. That's just an excuse.
Like, how cool is this, right?
The smoke coming out of the chimneys.
And you just wonder, like, how long has this trail or this pathway been here, you know, or the Romans walking this trail?
And then you have the spray paint ruining things. That's kind of sad. I've seen graffiti everywhere throughout Europe. Unfortunately. I found a Haribo. It's not Haribo, I found out recently, so correcting all of my previous Haribo comments or Haribo comments. Apparently it's sweetened with only fruit, so I found a substitute for my Haribo, even though it is everywhere because it is Europe. That's where it originated, in German. These are good. Kind of a little marshmallowy and fruity, but we're about to come up onto our first checkpoint into the town of Corniglia. It looks like there's actually somebody there checking tickets or permits for this morning, so we're definitely gonna have to show our hiking passes. So we're coming into our 3rd town on the Cinque Terre hike. We are coming into Corniglia. It's definitely more nestled above a cliff edge, so there's not direct like ocean
beach access or
beach access. It's definitely a cute little town, so let's check it out.
so many wonderful smells when you walk through these small alleys, and there's just these restaurants on all sides.
Corniglia is the smallest and most isolated village of the 5 towns of Cinque Terre. Its population is just around 150 people, and it also is one of the only towns of Cinque Terre that does not have direct access to the sea.
So we're currently walking the road because we read on a trail report on, I think, All Trails, that the road or the trail after Corniglia down by the coastline is closed, and so we missed the turn off. Walking the road back up into Corniglia, we're gonna turn off and go up the mountain. You know, we have a channel, seeing the world one mountain at a time. Wasn't expecting to hike the mountain today, but I guess that's just what's gonna happen. You know, whenever you go on trails like this, you just have to be flexible, but it still stinks having to backtrack.
Helen was right. This is the detoured route, so make sure you take a left before you go down to the train station in Corniglia. You want to make sure that you take a left for the detoured route, because the other trail is closed.
It's hot, there's no wind. Legitimately straight up. Well, there's switchbacks, but straight up.
Yeah, it's a hot one because in the it goes up a little canyon, no airflow whatsoever, so you're just kind of...
Look at the beads of sweat.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. There's Corniglia down below. What is known as the Italian Riviera, and there are multiple ways to essentially move about the 5 towns. You can go by train, you can hike, as well as drive. Of course, we drove to our first town of Monterosso. Training is definitely the easiest if you don't want to do this. So it looks like this stretch of the trail on the upper mountain, now that we're past the high point, is just a lot of vistas. We're just walking through a bunch of cliffside vineyards right now. It's a pretty cool sight.
The towns of Cinque Terre are said to date back to Roman periods. The Roman Empire collapsed around 476 CE, whereas the Middle Ages in Europe began in 500 CE. In 1870, the Italian government built the railroad to Monterosso al Mare, which opened up the Cinque Terre towns for easier access.
But we just found a bodega on the trail, and we stopped to get some cold drinks. Got an illy cold brew and some kind of fruit drink. I don't know. They're cold. That's all that matters.
Nice little view.
So we just made it to the town of Manarola. Beautiful little town. We were here yesterday. We stopped on the train. So we are just gonna kind of bypass the town, but we're still gonna show you around and head on our way to Riomaggiore, last town, the last stop.
Manarola may be the oldest and also the second smallest town in Cinque Terre. It was built on a high rock that hovers over 230 feet or 70 meters above sea level.
So we are at the last push of our Cinque Terre 5-city or 5-town hike, and we are on our way to Riomaggiore, the last and final town of Cinque Terre.
It has only gotten hotter and hotter as the day goes on, with the sun coming up, and that last climb to this little peak here between Manarola and Riomaggiore was just...
Epically tough.
It was tough, to say the least. So we are looking forward to going down for a bit and finishing up with a cold drink again.
And a gelato.
And gelato. So it appears that the original trail that follows the coastline really closely is down below us, and it looks like they're building a walkway, like a paved walkway along it, and there's still a lot of construction supplies down there.
We have made it. Tim, how do you feel?
Hot and exhausted. I'm really excited to go get just a cold drink get off these legs and then grab the train back. And something to eat too. We need to eat.
Well, I guess we didn't say that we were training back.
Oh yeah.
Heck no.
Yeah. So we're only hiking one way. I mean, we've already done like almost 10.5 miles. So we're just gonna take the train and go back.
Yeah, there's no way that I'm walking back. If not, he's going by himself.
Yeah.
The town of Riomaggiore means major river. Once the town had a major river running through the village. It is also the most southern village of all of the 5 Cinque Terre towns, and it's said to be more laid back than all of the 5 towns. It has Gothic churches and vineyards, and it gives a sense of regular life in a small Italian village.
It's Belgian. Cheers.
So,
Post hike drink. Just a fried mixed calamari.
Monterosso al Mare, and we just saw that it takes 7 minutes to take the express train back, and it took us over 6 hours to walk it. You know, it is what it is, but yeah.
Anyways, it was really hot. There was a lot of stairs. Bring plenty of water. Luckily, you can stop in each town and get drinks along the way.
There's also filling stations too, so if you're looking on the map, Gaia, GPS, or I think All Trails, you can see little water fountains along the way. We didn't discover them till later.
Overall, the trail was 10.5 miles. It took us 6 hours, and it was 3,000 feet of ascent.
It was definitely difficult. There wasn't just a gradual ascent or descent. It was varying, so it went up and down pretty much through all of the towns. There was a diversion up to a mountain because the coastline trail was closed, so that's something to keep in mind. And yeah, I would say I think I rate this trail like a 9 out of 10 just because of all the beautiful views and the towns that you walk through. You can't beat the historic towns of Cinque Terre. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning.
Just keep your eyes open for that detour where the trail is closed because we did miss it. We had to loop back, so that probably added at least a half mile extra.
Thanks so much for watching our video today. Make sure to hit that like button, and to support this channel, it definitely brings more viewers. Hit that subscribe for upcoming adventures, and we will definitely see you on the next trail. We will be taking you to other parts of Italy, including Mount Vesuvius, as well as Amalfi Coast and the Dolomites.
Thanks so much for joining us along on our Blue Plath hike in Cinque Terre. After a quick stop back in Tuscany and wine country for a couple days, we drive to our next Italian destination. In our next video, we'll show you around the town of Naples or Napoli, where we'll visit the Pompeii archaeological ruins and hike Mount Vesuvius. We'll see you on the next trail.
Oh, Tim, got a bucket of Aperol spritz, and we're at Cinque Terre with a view.